Hello, Julie here and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm sharing an art journal page that I created using alcohol inks and gelatos. I recently purchased a whole heap of new alcohol inks from Riot Art. They're Papermill brand. I've used them before and I find that they work perfectly well. They had them on sale, so I thought I'd top up my supplies. Most of the ones that I'll be using today are metallic and there is one shimmer. For my background I'm going to use some gloss photo paper. I'm going to do 2 pages and because I don't really know how much I need. I don't have an idea of what I'm going to use for a focal point or anything like that at this stage, so I start out by sprinkling some blending solution over both of the pages, and then I use some lemon yellow in a shimmer alcohol ink. Because they're shimmer or metallic, they like settle out, so you have to give them a good shake. They've got a little ball in there and you can hear that rumble around when you're shaking it. And so I started out by doing 2 pages at once, but I found that I couldn't get to the ink in time before it dried by doing that, so I just reverted back to using 1 page at a time. And actually 1 A4 page is pretty heavy work. You've got to keep moving, and yeah, I think probably even 1 A4 page is a bit too much. But anyway, I'm going to use an assortment of inks. This one is I think that's a blue. Yeah, blue. So that one is what? Rolling Waters, and that is a metallic. So I'm just putting that on. I'm using my little spray or air pusher thing to move the ink around. That the one I've got is a Couture Creations air puffer, and it's quite small. I think I might invest in the Tim Holtz one, which is a bit bigger and probably much easier to move things around with. I think you can also use a hairdryer to do this as well, but I'm just going to use this Couture Creations air puffer. Now I'm just going to continue using an assortment of the new metallic alcohol inks. I'm using burnt orange, silver, gold, rolling waters, purple sequins, silvery, penny loafer and lemon yellow. I think actually that one that I did before, I think that might be the purple, not the blue, so that's purple sequin. So yes, I'm just going to put this on fast forward now. I do this same process, put the ink on, squish it around with the air puffer, and I just mix the colours up. Once I've done 1 page, I move to the second. So once I'd done that, I set that aside to dry, and this is what it looks like when it had dried. The art journal I'm using today is this Happy Planner notebook. I use the pages in it as just a notebook with a graph page. I stick 2 pages together and then give it a coat of gesso, and that's what I use. I like the ring bound system because you can take your pages out, work on it flat and then put them back in when you're finished. I don't put anything on the back, I only use the front, and I write on the back the products that I use on that particular page so that I can always go back and refer to it if I want to. Now I'm going to use gelatos for my background. I'm going to use lemon, gold champagne, tangerine and grape. So there's lots of ways you can apply or use your gelatos. As I said, I've got gesso on the background of this, and I find that helps a great deal. You get a much smoother and nicer looking finish. So today I'm just going to use my fingers to rub that gelato around so that it's nice and smooth. You can get a nice blend this way. You can also, if you're looking for a bit of a paler look, you can use a baby wipe or something like that, maybe a wet sponge, whatever, for a paler and you get a very smooth finish with the baby white. But today I thought I'd just get my fingers dirty and rub it in with my fingers. So I'm going to apply those 4 colours just randomly on the background, and I'm going to apply several layers of each colour until I get the thickness or the fullness of colour that I'm after. I don't want it to be too wishy-washy, so that's why I'm using my finger instead of something wet. You can of course also use a wet brush if you want to do that. So yes, I'll apply a few different colours, a few different layers, and I'll get back to you when I've done that. For those who haven't used gelatos before, they're sort of like a crayon. They're a waxy sort of crayon, and they work like a lipstick. You wind them up so that your colour comes up the top. They're sort of similar, I suppose, to a scribble stick or something like that, but these are very creamy and very smooth, very easy to use. One of my favourites. So now to add a little bit more interest to the background, I'm going to use this stamp. It's just a silicone stamp, and I'm going to use my Stays On Jet Black ink just to put a bit of texture to the background. I'm not looking for a perfect stamp here. I'm just rolling the stamp on and off. I'm using my fingers and not a block. The stamp itself, I'm not sure what brand it is. I've thrown the packaging out and I really don't know where it came from. I've had it for quite some time. Now I'm going to use my modelling paste and a stencil. It's like a mandala stencil, just 1/4 of a mandala. I'm going to use that in the top left and bottom right corners. I again don't know the name of this stencil. I have used this in a video before and somebody did tell me the name of it and where it came from, but I didn't write it on the stencil and now I can't remember the information, so sorry about that. But I'm going to apply my modelling paste through that stencil in 2 areas, and then I'm going to set that aside to dry. While I'm waiting for that to dry, I start work on my focal point. I've decided to go with hearts for this page. I don't want a even rounded heart. I want more of a lopsided long heart, so I'm just drawing some on with a pencil. I don't end up even following that pencil line, I just wing it really. I draw some one larger one and then some smaller sizes, and I just start with this one page. I'm not sure whether I'll actually need that other page or not. So I'm going to draw them on there and then I'm going to use my scissors to fussy cut them out. Now I'll play around with the placement of my hearts, and once I'm happy with where they're sitting, I will use my matte medium to attach them to the background. I don't want to splash too much matte medium around because the gelatos have not been sealed or anything, so if I get them too wet they will smudge or come off or blend into each other. So I'm mostly applying the matte medium to the back of the hearts and then attaching that to the page. I don't cover them over with the matte medium because I don't want to lose that nice alcohol ink shine that I've got on there, the metallic finish. Once they're dry, I will turn it over and use my scissors to cut anything that's hanging over off. I'm going to use my food ball pen. It's black, and I'm going to just draw a rough line around the inside edge of my hearts just to make them stand out from the background a little better, and then I'm going to do a scallop doodle around each of the hearts. I'll also put a scribbly border around the whole page. You normally use my Stabilo all black pencil and a water brush to shade around my focal points on my art journal page, but the water would have disrupted the gelatos in the background. You can seal the gelatos, and I probably could have sprayed it with a clear spray, but I just didn't bother. I also thought I would add a bit more embellishment to my heart using a white paint pen, but the white just didn't stand out, so I didn't bother. So instead of the paint pen, I decided to add some splatters with some white acrylic paint. I just took a little bit of paint, put it on my acrylic block, added a little bit of water to it using my spray bottle, mixed it up with my palette knife, and then used my fan brush to splatter white all over the whole page. I had a look on the internet for a quote for my page and I found this one. I just used Word on my computer, printed it out, and now I'm going to use art glitter glue to attach that to my page for the same reason that I didn't want to mess up my background is the reason I didn't use a lot of matte medium to do this, so the art glitter glue does the job quite well. Once I've got that stuck in place, I'm going to use my black food ball pen once again to just draw a bit of a scribbly border around each of those quote blocks. And that completes my page for today, so I hope you've enjoyed watching my video. If you're not already a subscriber, I would love it if you would subscribe. I'll put a link in the description box below to the products I've used. They were on sale, on special. I'm not sure whether they will still be or not. And yeah, thank you for being here, and I hope you can join me when I post my next video. Bye.